Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Empty shelves can be frightening, but empty fields and barns would be devastating. Now, that quote from the president of the American Farm Bureau Federation underscores the sense of urgency and the concern in the nation's agriculture community as the severe economic consequences of the coronavirus pandemic continue to be felt all over the country and in every corner of our state. According to the Farm Bureau, the beef industry expects more than $13.6 billion in damages from the pandemic. Meantime, pork producers expect more than $5 billion in additional losses throughout the remainder of the year. Now, for pig farmers in Indiana, the temporary closure of two of the state's largest pork processing plants, Tyson in Logansport, Indiana Packers in Delphi, has created a huge backlog, forcing farmers to keep animals on their farms longer, spending more money to do so, or consider other alternatives. Indiana Pork Checkoff Director Jeanette Merritt tells me the pandemic's economic punch is hitting at an already challenging time for agriculture.
Last year, if you look back to spring of 2019, planting season was terrible. People put crops in the grounds in July, and it was a very stressful time. Crop prices have been low. There were trade disputes last year where pork producers lost some of our markets where typically we would be able to send pigs. So we were looking at 2020 as a year of renewal, and spring is always a season of hope for our pig farmers that also plant crops. Planting a crop in the ground and watching it grow, that you just always think of spring as the season of hope when we're going to be able to do that. So this pandemic really put another nail in the coffin for agriculture and for our pig farmers.
Merritt says a slight silver lining is that with limited production now resuming at Tyson and the Indiana Packers, markets for Indiana pig farmers are slowly beginning to open back up. But we found one Indiana pig farmer in a tiny town outside of Fort Wayne in Allen County who isn't waiting for packing plants to return to full capacity. He's turned to social media to sell hundreds of hogs that would otherwise be euthanized. Around Indiana, reporter Mary Rachel Redmond traveled to Monroeville to find out how Taylor Farms is moving swine to market through the palm of their hand.
For over 46 years, Rick and Katrina Taylor have been independent pig farmers in Allen County. Normally, the Taylors would sell their hogs to Tyson Fresh Meats in Logansport, but given the plant's recent coronavirus outbreak, Taylor Farms found itself with nowhere to sell its pigs.
It's going to take a while because they're only able to run one shift. Just can't get enough employees in there. Some of them are sick and can't work. It's just difficult, very difficult.
But when the Taylor's youngest daughter, Emily, secretly published a Facebook post advertising that her parents' Monroeville farm had 1,200 hogs for sale, the unthinkable happened.
Taylor Farms. We're getting 128 calls, and I'd say 99% of them people are going to take a hog. Anywhere from one hog to 80 hogs. I've had calls from Alaska, Florida, California. Okay. A lot of people come from Michigan. We've probably sold over 200 head there.
Since Taylor Farms' initial Facebook post on April 30th, folks have been flocking to Monroeville to buy pigs. In fact, Taylor tells me he's averaging 400 hogs a week. One of his customers is Chris Brown, a fellow farmer who owns a 10-acre farm in nearby Auburn.
Yep. Got a hold of Rick 2 weeks ago now. Bought 2 hogs already. Those are already all processed and sitting in my cooler. And came back to get 2 more. The whole reason why we're here is to help out another farmer. And quite honestly, I hope this is a growing trend for the future, because I'd much rather buy hogs off of Rick than get it from the grocery store prepackaged. A little more work to it, but again, the rewards. And if you only do it twice a year for a family of 6, which was what I have, it makes more sense. Just appreciate what Rick's doing, and I hope we can continue buying straight from the farmer. Great way to do it.
There's a certain point where you lose less money if you just euthanize them. I'm so glad that the people bought them. We didn't have to do that. It's been good for everybody.
While farmers across the U.S. are dealing with too much livestock and nowhere to take it, thanks to social media, Rick and his wife have figured out a new way to do business. And it's right in the palm of their hands.
They call me, text me. I have something already made up as a text, and then I just copy it and paste it and send it to them. And then they text me back how many they want, when they'd like to pick them up.
Yeah, have a great day.
And their name. And then my wife does the scheduling.
Let's go with about 10.
Then they show up and we just load them up.
And Rick tells me his orders are booked out for the next 2 weeks. And the week after that, the Tyson plant in Logansport told him they'll need a load.
We're set. I mean, I went from depression to happy.
Mary Rachel Redman, Inside Indiana Business.